Today we're going to make a hearty Southwestern fire roasted tomato soup. It has chicken and pasta. So I want to get started today first with the chicken for our hearty Southwestern chicken soup. First you have to brown off the chicken, but I want to season the chicken to begin with. This is 2.5 pounds of chicken breast and it's cut into 1/2-inch cubes. Try to cut it into cubes pretty much the same size so it cooks all at the same time. I'm going to spice it up with some granulated garlic. I have some cumin, and I'm probably altogether putting, I don't know, 1.5 teaspoons of each on. I have some paprika, some sweet paprika. I have some, this is Mexican hot chili powder, but you can use the regular chili powder. I just want to give it a tiny bit of heat. This has got some heat to it, so you maybe just want to use 1/2 teaspoon on that. I have some adobo seasoning. This is garlic, salt, pepper, and that's about it. This stuff can make anything taste good. I love it. But it is salty, so you want to limit it because you're going to be adding chicken broth and all that stuff too to the soup. And then I have, let's see, a little bit of dried cilantro. We're going to put that on. There we go. I'm just going to stir this together. So I get some spices on all of the chicken. In our big cast iron pan here, I have a big cast iron Dutch oven. I'm going to put probably 2 tablespoons of olive oil because I want to brown my chicken. And our olive oil is pretty hot in here. See, it makes that nice sizzling sound. And all I'm going to do is brown the chicken. So as you can see, my chicken's all done. It's not as brown as I wanted it, but it'll be just fine, only because I kind of crowded it in here. If you want something to actually brown in a pan, I would need a bigger pan because it all needs to hit the surface. It's fine though, it'll be just fine. So anyway, so we're just going to dump it into our plate here, pie plate, and let it sit. It's going to sit aside for a while. I'm going to get out those little things. And I'm just going to set this aside, because I want to cook down my vegetables and I don't want to let that overcook. So we're going to add some more olive oil to our pan, probably another 1.5 tablespoons-ish. I'm going to unleash the world's most powerful onions. If you see tears, you will know why. So I got my onions in to brown up. I'm going to throw my 3 cloves of garlic in. My 1.5 cups of peppers will go in a sec. Ooh, that smells good. Now I'll put it in the peppers. And I'm going to re-season this stuff and let this cook down. So I'm going to go back with the garlic. This is a garlicky soup, like I said. And some cumin. I really like that smoky kind of taste that the cumin gives to pretty much everything. And go back with the chili powder a little bit. I didn't notice any heat when I snuck a piece of the chicken, so I think we're looking good. And I'm going to put some pepper on these also. Where's my pepper? There it is. And then these need like 10 minutes, probably, much like the chicken that needed 10 to 12. So these are just going to sit and cook and get happy and nice and translucent, and I will show you what they look like when they're ready. So as you can see, my vegetables are nice and browned, and it's very delicious and aromatic and wonderfully smelling in here. And as I do this, I'm scraping up the brown bits from the bottom of the pan also. So now here's the semi-magic part. You ready? I've already put the 3 cans of tomatoes in here, just a plain diced, and I'm going to put all of them right into my pot. Then I'm going to add a couple cups of my chicken broth, not all of it. That was probably 2 cups. Then I have my nifty immersion blender. This goes right in the pan, which is so cool. What I'm going to do is half puree this. I like the half pureed part because it's sort of smooth, and then I like the chunky part because the tomatoes are still chunky. So if you don't have one of these nifty stick blender gadgets, You can put it in your food processor, you can put half of it in your blender, or you can just leave it like this. No biggie. I bet, woo, this is fun. I bet you could even get out your potato masher. It won't make a puree, but it'll mash down some of the ingredient. So now I need to let this come to a boil again. So our beautiful soup has thickened up pretty much. You can see it's nice and thick now. It's reduced down a little bit. It's beautiful in color, but you can still see the chunks of vegetables because I didn't cook them to death, which is nice. So now I'm going to add the 2 cans of the fire roasted tomatoes with all the juice, just like the others. The fire roasted tomatoes have a real richness, almost like they have tomato paste in them. I think it's the fire roasting that does that, wouldn't you? And then I'm going to add the 1 can of the diced tomatoes with the green chilies. This is where you're going to get a little bit of the heat aspect of our soup from. So I'm going to put a little bit more of my chicken broth in because I know, like I said, that pasta is going to soak up a lot of any excess liquid that's in there after it sits together, even for a half hour or so. But even overnight, that's what's going to happen. The chicken's going in. We'll get back here. And then I have all the nice chicken juices are going in with it. This is cooked all the way through, and you've got all those spices that came off the chicken. Delicious. And then I have my cooked pasta, which I told you I just tossed with a little bit of olive oil and pepper so that it wouldn't stick all together. Just going to stir it around a little. And I have what remains that I didn't put over there is a half a cup of just chopped fresh cilantro. That's going in. And you don't put that in with the rest of the spices because you want it to stay a little crispy, a little fresh. Take a nice big scoop of this. Try not to make a giant mess. This is just full of deliciousness. So we've got our beautiful hot soup. A little sprig of low-fat sour cream. A little, sorry, not a sprig, a little dollop of low-fat sour cream on the top. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. And a beautiful sprig of fresh cilantro. Makes for a wonderful bowl of hearty Southwestern chicken soup.